Nadia Camacho. I'm a senior at Pecos High School, and I'm going to be reading Horton Hears a Who by Dr. Seuss. On the 15th of May, in the jungle of Knoll, in the heat of the day, in the cool of the pole, he was splashing and enjoying the jungle's great joys when Horton the elephant heard a small noise. So Horton stopped splashing. He looked toward the sound. That's funny, thought Horton. There's no one around. Then he heard it again, just a very faint yelp, as if someone tiny were calling for help. I hope you, said Horton, but who are you? Where? He looked and looked. He could see nothing there but a small speck of dust blowing past through the air. I say, murmured Horton, I've never heard tell of a small speck of dust that is able to yell. So you know what I think, why I think there must be someone on top of that small speck of dust, some sort of creature, very small, too small to be seen by an elephant's eye. Some poor little person who's shaking with fear that he'll blow in the pool. He has no way to steer. I'll just have to save him because after all, a person's a person no matter how small. So gently and using the greatest of care, the elephant stretched his great trunk through the air and lifted the dust speck and carried it over and placed it down safe on a very soft clover. Humped, humped, a voice. 'Twas a sour kangaroo, and a young kangaroo in her pouch said, "Hump, too. Why, that speck is as small as the head of a pin. A person on that, why, there has never been." Believe me, said Horton, I tell you sincerely, my ears are quite keen, and I hear him quite clearly. I know there's a person down there, and what's more, quite likely there's two, even three, even four, quite likely. A family, for all that we know, a family with children just starting to grow. So please, Horton said, as a favor to me, try not to disturb them, just please let them be. I think you're a fool, laughed the sour kangaroo, and the young kangaroo in her pouch said, Me too. You're the biggest blame fool in the jungle of Knoll, and the kangaroos plunged in the cool of the pool. What terrible splashing, the elephant frowned. I can't let my very small persons get drowned. I've got to protect them, I'm the bigger than they are. So he plucked the clover and hustled away. Though the high jungle tree tops and the news quickly spread, he talks to a dust speck, he's out of his head. Just look at him walk with that speck on the flower, and Horton walked worrying almost an hour. Should I put this speck down? Horton thought with alarm. If I do, these small persons may come to great harm. I can't put it down, and I won't after all. A person's a person, no matter how small. Then Horton stopped walking. A speck voice was talking. A voice was so faint he could barely hear it. Speak up, please, said Horton. He put it to his ear near it. My friend, came the voice, you are a very fine friend. You've helped us all folks on this dust speck no end. You've saved all of our houses, our ceilings, and our floors. You saved all of our churches and grocery stores. You mean, Horton gasped, you have buildings there too? Oh yes, piped the voice. We're most nearly due. But I'm the mayor of the town that is friendly and clean. Our buildings to you would may seem terribly small, but to us who aren't as big, they wonderfully tall. My town is called Whoville, for I am a Who, and we Whos are thankful and grateful for you. And Horton called back to the mayor of the town, you are safe now, don't worry, I won't let you down. But just as he spoke to the mayor of the speck, three big jungle monkeys climbed on Horton's neck. The Wickersham brothers came shouting, what rot? This elephant's talking to who's who are not. These aren't any who's, they don't have a mayor. We're going to stop all this nonsense, so there. They snatched Horton's clover, they carried it off to a black-bottomed eagle named Valdicna, a mighty strong eagle of a very swift wing, and they will kindly get rid of this thing. And before the poor elephant could even speak, the eagle flew with the flower on his beak. All that late afternoon, in the far into the night, The black-bottomed bird flapped his wings in fast flight, while Horton chased after with groans over stones that tattered his toenails and battered his bones, and begged, "Please don't harm all my little folks who have much right to live as us bigger folks do." But far beyond him, the eagle kept flapping, and over his shoulder called, "Quit your yapping! I'll fly in the night. Though I'm a bird, I don't mind it. I'll hide this tomorrow where you'll never find it." At 6:56 the next morning he did it. It was sure terrible place that he hid it. He left the small clover dropped somewhere inside of a great patch of clovers, hundreds of miles wide. "Find that," sneered the bird, "but I think you will fail." And he left with a flip of his black-bottomed tail. "I'll find it," cried Horton. I'll find it or bust. I shall find my friends on a small speck of dust." And the clover by clover by clover with care, he picked up and searched them and called, "Are you there?" But clover by clover by clover he found that one he sought for was just not around. And by noon poor old Horton, more dead than alive, had picked, searched, and piled up 9,005. And then through the afternoon and hour after hour, till he found them at last, on the 3 millionth flower. "My friends," cried the elephant, "tell me, don't tell. Do tell, are you safe? Are you sound? Are you whole? Are you well?" From down the speck came the voice of the mayor. "We've really had trouble more than our share. When that black bottom birdie let go and we dropped, we landed so hard our clocks have stopped. Our teapots are broken, our rocking chairs smashed, our bicycle tires all blew up when we crashed. So Horton pleaded that the voice of the mayor, will you stick us who's while we're making repairs?" "Of course," Horton answered, "of course I'll stick by you small smoke folks through thin and through thick." Humped, humped the voice. "For almost 2 days you've run wild, insisted on chatting with persons who've never existed. Such carry-ons in our peaceable jungle. We've had quite enough of your bellowing bumble. And here to state," snapping the big kangaroo, "that your silly nonsensical game is all through." And the young kangaroo in her pouch said, "Me too." With the help of the Wickersham brothers and dozens of the Wickersham uncles and the Wickersham cousins and the Wickersham in-laws whose help I've engaged, you are going to be roped and you are going to be caged. And as far as the dust speck, ha, that we shall boil in hot steaming kettle of the bewizzled nut oil. Boil it, gasped Horton. "Oh, that you can't do it. It's all full of persons who'll prove it to you." Mr. Mayor," Horton called, "Mr. Mayor, you've got to prove now that you are really there. So call a big meeting, get everyone out. Make every who holler, make every who shout, make every who scream. If you don't, every who is going to end up in a bezelnut stew." And down on the spec, the scared little mayor quick called a big meeting in Whoville Town Square. And his people cried loudly, they cried out in fear, "We are here, we are here, we are here." The elephant smiled, that was clear as a bell. You kangaroos surely heard that very well. All I heard, snapped the big kangaroo, was the breeze and the faint sound of a wind through the far distant trees. I heard no small voices, you didn't either. The young kangaroo in her pouch said, "Me either." "Grab him," they shouted. The cage and cage the big dope. Lasso his stomach with tens of miles of rope. Tie the knots so tight he'll never shake loose. Then dunk that dumb speck in the beetle nut juice. Horton fought back with great vigor and vim, but the Wickersham gang was too many for him. They beat him, they mauled him, they started to haul him into his cage, but he managed to call to the mayor, "Don't give up. I believe in you all. A person's a person, no matter how small." And you very small persons will not have to die if you make yourselves heard, so come on and try. The mayor grabbed a tom tom and started to smack it, and all over Whoville they whooped up a racket. They racked tin kettles, they beat up brass pins. They on garbage pail tops and old cranberry cans. They blew on bazookas and blasted great tutus, and on clarinets and bottom flutes. Great gusts of loud racket rang high through the air. They rattled and shook the whole sky, and the mayor called up through the howling mad hullabaloo. Hey Horan, how's this? Is our sound coming though? And Horan called, I can hear you just fine, but the kangaroo's ears aren't as strong and quiet as mine. They don't hear a thing. Are you sure all your boys are doing their best? Are they making noise? Are you sure every who down in Whoville is working quick? Look through your town. Is there anyone shirking? Though the town rushed the mayor from the east to the west, but everyone seemed to be doing his best. Everyone seemed to be yapping and yeeping. Everyone seemed to be beeping and beeping. But it wasn't enough, all this ruckus and war. He had to find someone to help him make more. He raced through each building, searched floor to floor, and just as he felt he was getting nowhere, and was almost about to give up in despair, he suddenly burst through the door that the mayor discovered one Schleichler, quite hidden away in the Fair Fox apartments. A very small Schleichler named Jojo was just standing and bouncing a yo-yo, not making a sound, not a yip, not a chirp, and the mayor rushed inside and grabbed the young twerp. He climbed with the laid up Eiffelberg Tower. This, cried the mayor, this is your town's darkest hour. The time for all who have blood that is red to come to the aid of their country said, we've got to make the noises in greater amounts. So open your mouth, lad, for every voice counts. Thus he spoke as he climbed. When he got to the top, the lad cleared his throat and shouted, Yo, that yoke, the one small extra yoke, put it over. Finally, at last, the speck on the clover, their voices were heard. They rang over clear and clean. The elephant smiled. Do you hear what I mean? They prove that they are persons, no matter how small their whole world was saved by the smallest of all. How true, yes, how true, said the big kangaroo. And from now on, you know what I'm planning to do. From now on, I'm going to protect them with you. And the young kangaroo in the pouch said, me too. From the sun in the summer, from the rain when it's squallish, I'm going to protect them no matter how smallish. Yeah.